Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a few weeks since I've posted, just been a little bit busy. I do plan on getting back on a regular schedule. In this video you see a bunch of the figures that I've opened on the channel, with this one being my first one, and then all these just kind of came after. But I've been doing some moving around with these figures, just in terms of where I store them, and I did a video last time on the ones, kind of my collection from growing up. And so since I pulled all these out, I thought I'd go ahead and do a collection of some of the ones I've opened. Now these are pretty much just the Irwin figures. A lot of them are Cell and Android Saga, with maybe a few more mixed in. I might do a couple videos kind of reviewing these sets that I've opened so far on the channel. And each one of these figures has an individual video for it on the channel. So if you just click on the channel name and go to videos, I think they should all be organized by playlist. So these are all going to be under the Dragonballz. You can view each one. There are quite a few in here. I'm not planning on putting the link in the description, but if anyone thinks that would help, just let me know, and I'm happy to take the time to do it. So I figure we'll go ahead and start with Goku and just kind of work our way through. We'll start with base form. So this was probably the 5th or 6th video that I opened. This was the Android Saga base form Goku. Classic figure, one of my favorites. One thing I thought was odd on this, with it being Android Saga, was the fact that he had the belt that's like this, instead of being one like on this figure where it just wraps all the way around. And then the fact that he had the sign on the front and the back. He may have had this when he was training with Piccolo to prepare for the androids, but I don't remember him having this whenever androids 19 and 20 showed up and then they started to fight. So other than that, I mean, it's an awesome figure. Not a ton of articulation, arms just kind of move up and down. Same thing with the legs, and you can see the back. And the color on this is just amazing. I mean, they nailed it. This is exactly, if you pulled Goku out of the anime, I think the colors match up perfectly with what we saw on the screen back in the day. So that's base form Goku. We'll set him off to the side, and then we'll go with the first figure that I opened up on the channel, which is almost 2 years ago now. I think it'll be 2 years in August. It's the Cell Saga Super Saiyan Goku, one of my all-time favorites. His wrists do turn on this figure, so I think they did a great job with his face, his hair, and again, just like the other figure, the colors are just spot on. You can see the front and the back. One of my favorite figures. I wanted this for so long, never had it growing up, so when I finally got it, I had to start off with this being my first video and unboxing. So we'll go ahead and set him down, and then our next one, we'll go with the Sand Armor Goku. I got this one later on, not one I expected to find. They're pretty pricey from what I've seen. I mean, some people charge 60 to 70 bucks for them. I think I got this one for about 25, 30 at most. I think it may have been 30 off for the seller, $28, and I believe they took it. But yeah, this one's a really nice figure. It doesn't have the metallic paint like the Trunks from the Cell Games Saga. I think this was the Cell Games Saga Irwin. The Trunks has a metallic paint, this one does not. But it's a really neat looking figure. I wish he didn't look so angry on his face, but I guess if you think about Goku and Gohan training together, maybe Goku's just kind of powering up. So the arms are a little bit different on this one. It kind of bent in, so it almost looks like he's gonna power up. They did a good job with his hair. Almost looks like Super Saiyan 2. I don't want to say it is. It almost looks like it. He's not as muscular or as beefed up, so maybe it's not, but just a really cool looking figure. Goku in the Sand Armor. I wish they had a Gohan. I think some viewer mentioned in the comments there was a Gohan in the Sand Armor. I've not found one. If anybody has a link to one, please send it to me. I would love to own it. So there's Goku in the Sand Armor. And then we've got the next figure, and I did some Dragon Stars series figures too, and Super Saiyan 3 Goku was one of them. That one being much better than this one. I just could never really get over the face on this figure. It's not horrible. I think they did a good job with his mouth and his nose, and the hairpiece doesn't look bad, but his eyes just look a little off. And so the whole figure just looks a little, I don't want to say silly. I don't want to trash it, but they could have just done a little bit of a better job. So pretty muscular up here, you can see on his arms. They got him pretty wide up at the top. And then his hair is just this giant plastic chunk. It's almost impossible to stand the figure up. He just keeps falling backwards. You gotta lean him forward just a little. Sorry with the focus, guys, trying to get that to stay. And I think because I have all these figures in the back, it's wanting to focus on them and not so much on the one up front. But yeah, there's this one. So articulation kind of the same. Arms move up and down, and then he bends at the knee and his legs come up. So Not the best Goku figure, but you know, we had to add him to the collection. And this one's pretty rare. I got this one, I think it was 17, 18 bucks on eBay. And a viewer told me, hey, you shouldn't open that. You know, it's a pretty rare figure. Didn't think much of it, but now when I go online and I see them, I mean, they all cost so much money. But you know, for me, it's always just about getting the figure out and showing it to you guys so you can see them all up close in detail. I kept a lot of these in the packages for a long time, and I just got to a point where I wanted to go ahead and get them out. So this is one I actually did not open here on the channel. It is the Super Saiyan Gohan in Piccolo's outfit with the cape. So one of my favorite figures, and one that I wish I hadn't opened. I got it a couple years before the Cell Saga Goku, but such a cool figure. And again, just like the other ones, kind of limit articulation, especially with the cape, but his legs come up, he bends at the knee. And I do have the Gohan I did in the last video with the gold hair, no cape, but I just love this look of him in the cape. It's just kind of, I don't know, just something about it. I remember being a kid, and this was always my favorite Gohan, just before he powers up and turns Super Saiyan 2 and shows everyone what he can do. It's kind of that calm before the storm. You know, he's over dressed like Piccolo, looking really cool, watching Goku fight, and then out of the blue, Goku quits against Cell and says he's going to pick Gohan to fight next. So just a really nostalgic moment, and I think this figure just kind of represents that. Before, you know, Goku passed away, when Gohan was still just kind of an innocent kid in that transition. So for me, it's always been just kind of a favorite phase of Gohan. Go ahead and set him off to the side, and let's go ahead and do Vegeta next, since we've only got a couple. So we got the Android Saga base form. This is actually one of my favorite figures. I just think the blue is perfect on this figure. There's a light over here to the side, so it kind of reflects off of the blue, but it's such a nice figure. The color is perfect. I love on the hair. You can see every individual spike there in the back. It's not just one chunk of black plastic, so I appreciate that. He bends at the leg, or his leg comes up and he bends at the knee. Kind of got his arms up like this and fist. Just looks like Vegeta during the Android Saga when he shows up and he's arguing with Dr. Zero, Android 20. He's about to transform into Super Saiyan for the first time, fighting Android 19. This figure just really captures, for me, Vegeta from that time period in Dragon Ball Z. So I love it, and the color is just spot on. Probably one of my favorite figures. And then next we have the Cell Saga Super Saiyan Vegeta. So much lighter blue on this, which I think is great. You can see his hair, nice bright yellow. They got that kind of scowl on his face. They nailed that. Got the yellow over here on the boots. Great detail on the hair on the back. I'd say this Vegeta base form and the Super Saiyan is probably one of my favorite combos. I mean, to me, it looks just like Vegeta from the show. This looks like Vegeta from Android Saga, and this looks just like Vegeta when he's fighting Cell. So they did a tremendous job on the detail here. And if this figure were just to transform, I mean, I think it'd pretty much just go from this straight to this. So awesome figures, and if anyone's a Vegeta fan, I highly recommend these for your collection. They have them in Dragon Stars too. I've seen the Vegeta, Super Saiyan, and Saiyan armor. I think they have two versions. They released an updated one recently. If anyone has those, or if you've done any unboxings, just post a link down in the comments below and let me know what you think about them. I might be looking to add that to the collection. So I've got quite a few Trunks figures here. Let's start with this one, Future Trunks, when he first shows up. Love the color here on the jacket, that purple. We've got the strap for the sword. This one too, his arms move up and down, legs move up and down, bends at the knee. Kind of a common theme with these figures. See in his face, they did a great job. I mean, for an early 2000s figure, this is probably one of the best. I love the Vegeta just because that's one of my favorite characters, but in terms of detail, color, I think this Trunks is just spot on. Got the sword back here, which does come out, and you can place that in his hand. Gotta see if I can get a Super Saiyan Trunks with the jacket and the sword. If anyone knows of that figure, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to add it to my collection. I do have this one. This was the one with the kind of kicking action. And again, this one too, they did a great job with the face, tremendous job with the hair. This is some of the best work they've done on the hair on these old figures. His arms seem maybe a little small compared to some of the other figures, or I don't say not as detailed, because they are pretty detailed. Something about him just seems a little off to me, but overall the figure is great. If you're a fan of Super Saiyan Trunks, and this reminds me of him going back into the future and killing Android 17 and 18, so not having the jacket on, muscles popping out. First time I saw this as a kid, I loved Trunks. I just thought it was the coolest thing. So great color on this, highly recommend it. I know you guys have said, a few of you in the comments, that all of the figures from that set of kind of the kicking action or striking action, that they're all really good figures. So really glad I got this one. May look to add more to the collection. We've got Teen Trunks here from the Cell Saga. Not the best face, I'd say. When you see it from the side, it looks good, like from this angle. But when you turn it forward, the scowl is maybe just a little bit too much. But overall, a great figure. I'm not going to complain. They did a really good job with his hair, too. Kind of a difficult thing, I would think, at that time for a figure, but this one came out great. I love the blue on it, very similar to the Android Saga Vegeta. Now this one, you can see the blue is maybe a little bit more shiny. This is a little bit more matte, but I think it's great. The way you can't really go wrong. And then, like the other ones, it's not yellow here if it's not Super Saiyan, but once they turn Super Saiyan, you'll see the yellow on the boot. Good consistency there. You can see his muscles, detail in the armor. Great figure. I think that was the second video that I did on the channel. And then this one was one of my absolute favorites. This was the Cell Game Saga Super Saiyan Trunks with the metallic paint. So his arms, if they did a little bit more of a bend in the elbow here, I think it'd be better. It just looks like he's kind of, straighten out his arms completely like this instead of bending a little bit, but not a huge deal. This one's done a little bit better. See the bend there? And then this one's just completely straight. Didn't really even notice that when we first unboxed the figure, but now that I'm looking at it, that's probably one thing I would change. His hair is just crazy here. It looks so good though. You can see there in the back, all the spikes right there in the front, and then a nice shine because they had that metallic paint. One of my favorite figures, absolutely one of my favorite figures. I might be saying that a lot, but I truly do love all these, and that's why I got them, and that's why I did the unboxing, so I could share them with you all. And then we got this one too, a paint job that's similar to the Cell Saga Vegeta. This was the one with the orb. There's a little button back there to push. There's not a battery in there, so it's not going to work. One thing I loved on this is that they put the hair tie in there, and they have his hair pulled back into a ponytail. I always thought it just looked so cool when he was watching Vegeta fight Cell, but they never made a figure of it until I saw this one, and I was like, wait, that's his hair pulled back, so I had to get it. Actually, that's probably the only reason why I got the figure. I just thought that was such a neat detail to include something like that in one of these older figures. So when you put his arm up, you can see he's kind of flexing, it's muscular. The little orb doesn't really bother me on this. It looks pretty cool, even though it doesn't light up anymore, or at least there's no battery. It might light up if I put one in, but great job on the color, good detail on the boots, and then tremendous detail back here on the armor. And then that's the speaker for kind of that sound of the energy blast, which to me always just sounded like that aura that's around them whenever they transform into a Super Saiyan. So we got a few more figures here. Let's go ahead and finish up with the good guys. We've got Piccolo from the Android Saga, great figure. This was one when I first got him. I almost ripped his head off thinking the head came off so we could take the cape off, but the cape is actually kind of glued on or just built into that plastic so that doesn't come off. But this piece does. We don't really ever see Piccolo like this. It looks more like Nail from the Frieza Saga or Namek Saga. So I just like to kind of keep this piece on. But great detail here. I just wish they hadn't missed the pink on the shoulders. Not really sure why they did that. Not a huge deal, but overall a great Piccolo figure. Nice and heavy, nice and bulky. His legs do come up and bend at the knee. But pretty much the same movement as the Gohan in this outfit. But then in the back, this is one of my favorite details of any of these figures, is the cape blowing in the wind. You can see all the creases, you can see all the lines. And if you set this figure down, it just looks like the wind's blowing his cape and he's just standing there. And so many times in the anime, we've seen Piccolo kind of standing like that. So great figure. Highly recommend it for any Piccolo fan, and much heavier than some of the other figures because of that plastic on the cape, but no issue with standing the figure up. And then we are down to a couple of androids. And Cell, I've got to get androids 19 and 16. They're missing from this collection, and now it just kind of looks bad that I don't have them, so definitely gonna add that to my list. We've got Android 20, Dr. Gero, unbelievable figure. I mean, if you guys are a fan of any of the androids, you have to get this one. The detailing and the clothes, the red energy absorber in his palm, and the way that his hand sits like this, the closed fist on this one, the hair detail in the back. His legs are perfectly straight, just like you would see him standing in the city with Android 19. Great details there on his shoes with the laces. Just can't say enough about this figure. And then if you take the hat off, you've got the brain in that little blue piece. So little red ribbon, sorry guys. little red ribbon sign on the hat. Beautiful figure. One of my favorites, probably my favorite android of the entire set. So this video is getting a little bit past 15 minutes. I hope y'all are enjoying this. And let's go ahead and jump to Android 17. So great figure, good job on his face. These are a lot smaller than the other figures. So if you put him next to the Piccolo, you see he's quite a bit smaller, which matches up with how it would be in the show. So that's kind of a nice thing if you're looking to scale the figures. But this one's got some great detail on the face. I think they really captured his nose and his eyes very well. And then he's got the red ribbon logo there in his shirt. He comes with this little pistol in the holster, rip on the pants, great detail there. Good job on the color, a little bit of a shine. I love the bright green in the socks, they nailed that. The shoes with that little bit of purple. And then the back, you can see the bandana, some detail in the hair. It's a great figure. And then Android 18. The one thing I noticed on this, one of you guys commented, is this arm just looks really weird. Not really sure why they posed it this way. Maybe if you put it up, it looks a little bit better. But good detailing here on the sleeves. You can see okay, there's the red ribbon logo on the back. You can see the pockets on the skirt. You can see the belt. Bright boots with the strap. So great detail there. The face on this one isn't as good as Android 17, but it's not terrible either. You know, for early 2000s figure, they really did a solid job. So just got some of that dust off the face so you guys can see a little bit better. Good color blue on the eyes. Good looking figure overall. And then here we have, last but not least, Perfect Cell. So one of my favorite figures. They did a tremendous job with this one. They missed the little blue purple lines right there in his face. I don't know how they missed that, but it doesn't take away from the figure. I think the figure's still great. But for those of us who love Cell and who appreciate those little details, that's just a little bit of a miss on this figure. So this one's got a little bit of dust on him. But overall, great job on the color. This waist piece is a little bit loose, so he moves around pretty easy, but not anything bad. And he does bend at the knees. His arm comes up, this arm comes up. These pieces are a little bit looser, and then you can see his tail back there. Overall, just great detail, tremendous figure. And if you're a fan of Cell, this is probably the figure to have. The Dragon Stars, I've seen that one. I'm not sure if it's any good or not. If anybody has any recommendations, if you think I should get it and do a comparison, let me know. I'm happy to look into it. But I absolutely love this Perfect Cell. And then the fact that he comes with a Cell Jr. is just a nice detail, nice touch. The color on this one is perfect. That evil smile is perfect. You guys remember these guys, they were beaten up on Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and this is pretty much exactly the look on their faces while they were doing so. It's a good detail in the back with the little wings, and just overall tremendous job on such a small figure and kind of side accessory. They really nailed this. So thanks so much for tuning in on this video. It went a little bit long. Just wanted to go through my collection of the figures I've done on the channel. But thanks so much for tuning in. I'll have more videos coming up soon.